Hello, my name is Hector Campos. I'm professor of Spanish linguistics at Georgetown University, and in this video I am going to try to teach you how to use an application called POE, P-O-E, to improve your vocabulary and reading skills. So the first thing that you need to do is go to poe.com. That is POE.com. And if you don't have an account, open an account. As you can see here, you will have many options to use artificial intelligence to help you. One of them is Sage, GPT-4. For this one, you need to pay. All the other applications here are free. But for GPT-4, it says limited access, and Claude Plus, you need to pay. But Sage, Claude Instant, ChatGPT, and Dragonfly, they are free, so you can use them. And I'm going to use Claude Instant, which is pretty good for language and reading. So let's imagine that you're studying Spanish, and you are in level A2. So you can ask in Claude Instant, you can write, say invent 100 word story in Spanish, level, let's say A1. And then you enter. And then Claude will automatically create a story for you, level A1. Level A1 is a little hard, but I can show you what you can do with this to improve your Spanish. So let's take this one here. So let's say, Juan tenía 10 años, le gustaba dibujar animales en su cuaderno de bocetos. You can see that the vocabulary is quite hard. Un día, Juan dibujó un Pegaso alado. Mientras dibujaba, algo mágico sucedió, el Pegaso cobró vida y voló fuera de la página del cuaderno. This is not really A1, it's really B1. But what you can do here then is you can copy. So here you will get these 3 dots. You go here and you go copy. And then here you're going to type and you're saying make a vocabulary list for this text, and then you copy and paste your text. Oh, and then maybe we should say make a vocabulary list for this text, vocabulary list level, let's say level A1 for this text. And then we don't want the introduction that we got there, so we get rid of that. And let's click on that, and let's see what this is going to do for us. As you can see here, you will get a vocabulary list of the many words that you have there. Okay? So this is level A1. Let me copy. You can copy the text. So here you go to that and you say copy, and then let me go to Word, and I'm going to copy the text, and I'm going to make it a little bigger so we can see better. Just make it 16. Okay, and I'm going to close this here. And remember that this was a level A1. Okay, so we have our story here, level A1. And if you want to study, then you can also go back and you can copy the vocabulary as well. So here, we're going to go here, copy, and we are going to copy the vocabulary. As you can see, it gives us very small letters. So let's make them bigger. We have a lot of vocabulary there. Okay, so I'm going to make them 14, 12. Okay, let's make them 12. and let's make them Times Roman, and the same text. I am going to go here in home, and I'm going to make this, oops, I just lost that there. I'm going to make it one space, no, okay, so there we have, okay. So you can see the vocabulary here is pretty thorough. So bocetos, we didn't know that word, that means sketches. So you have the vocabulary there for the story. You have an extensive vocabulary there. Now, you can take the same story, so let's copy the story again, copy, and you can say, rewrite the story for in Spanish, so you have to say what language, otherwise it will do it in English, in Spanish, level, let's say, B1, and then paste the story, and he's going to rewrite the story. Notice that automatically gave us the vocabulary as well, since we had already asked it to do that before. So let me again copy this. I'm going to paste this here so we can actually compare the two stories. Okay. Let me make this bigger so we can see this better as well. So now we asked it to write it in level B1. Let's make it 16 also. All right. And let's compare the two stories that the system wrote. So I'm going to split the screen here, and here is the first story that it wrote, and here's the second story. So Juan tenía 10 años, Juan tenía tan solo 10 años. So you can see that here it added this expression tan solo, which again is going to be more advanced. Le gustaba dibujar animales en su cuaderno de bocetos. Le encantaba, so notice that here it's using a different word, le encantaba, so this is new, dibujar animales en su cuaderno de bocetos. Okay, distintos animales, so this is also new, so it's giving more detail in Spanish. Un día Juan dibujó un Pegaso alado. Un día Juan dibujó un Pegaso alado, the same. Mientras dibujaba, algo mágico sucedió. Mientras trabajaba en su dibujo, while he was working in his drawing, as opposed to while he was drawing, algo mágico sucedió. Sucedió algo mágico. Notice that here it has inverted the subject, which is very common in Spanish. El Pegaso cobró vida, the same, y voló fuera de la página del cuaderno, the same. So you can see that it's actually making the text a little harder. Also, with the vocabulary, so notice that here then is going to give you, again, the vocabulary for that text, and it will include then the new words that you have there. You can also try, let's try again, and let's make this a level C1. Okay, so let's go back here, and let's copy the story again. Okay, so here we have that story, copy, and I will say then, write this story in Spanish, level C1. Okay, and then I am going to write the story there again, and I need to get rid of this that I did before. Okay, and let's click on that again and see what it's going to do for us. So here comes the story now in a level C1. And since we asked it to do the vocabulary first, he's going to do the vocabulary again for us, which is okay. So again, let's copy this, and let's paste it here so we can compare with the text that we got for level B1. Okay, so we got it there, and let me make this text bigger. Alright, so here's level C1. Let's make it 16 so we can see better. Okay, and I'm going to compare them with the level B2 that we had before. Okay, so this is level B2, and you can see how it changed the structure and the vocabulary. Juan tenía tan solo 10 años. Juan, un niño de 10 años apasionado del dibujo. So here, le encantaba dibujar distintos animales. So here, un niño de 10 años apasionado del dibujo. So this is definitely a higher level of Spanish. Le encantaba dibujar distintos animales en su cuaderno de bocetos. Tenía la costumbre, okay, notice that it changed again, de esbozar criaturas fantásticas en su cuaderno de bocetos. Okay, so you can see how it's actually elaborating on the original text that you have, taking it up a level, so you can actually play with levels, and if one level is too hard for you, you can make it easier, or you can make it harder, depending on what you want to do with that. Now, what else can we do? So let's work on the text for B1. Well, let's work on the original text. So let me go back all the way to the original text. I'm going to copy it again. So I'm going to copy here. This is the original text, A1, which I don't think it's A1, but that's okay. Then let's go back to the text, and we have the text here. So I'm going to ask, and I'm going to say, okay, write 10 questions in Spanish, so you have to say in what language, for this text. Okay, and then I paste the text, and it is going to write the 10 questions. Now, since we asked the program to translate, notice that it's going to give you the words, the questions in English and in Spanish, which, again, won't hurt, so you will understand the questions. So let's copy the questions. Okay, so let's copy the questions here, since this is after our text A1. I'm going to copy it after the vocabulary here, so we can have the full lesson. Okay, I'm going to copy the questions, and what we're going to do now is we're going to ask the program to answer the questions for us. Okay, so again, we are going to copy the questions and the answers that we got here, and we're going to say answer these questions in Spanish. Okay, and I'm going to enter that, and then here it has answered the questions. See, so the first question was ¿Cuántos años tenía Juan? How old was Juan? And it answered Juan tenía 10 años. Juan was 10 years old. So it's giving you also the both, because since we have it in English and Spanish. ¿Qué le gustaba dibujar a Juan en su cuaderno? Notice that Spanish is not going to be perfect. It should be ¿Qué le gustaba dibujar a Juan en su cuaderno? But, you know, it will improve your vocabulary. A Juan le gustaba dibujar animales en su cuaderno. ¿Qué dibujó Juan un día? What did Juan draw one day? Un día Juan dibujó a un Pegaso alado. Okay, so notice that you can also create questions and answers like that. So let's copy that in the text so you can practice this. Okay, so let's add the answers here so you can practice reading the answers after that. Then, if you want, again, we have the text. So let's copy the text again, and I'm going to ask the text to write 10 yes or no questions. Okay, so true or false. So again, I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to say write 10 true or false statements in Spanish about this text. Okay, and I'm going to copy the text again, and then notice that it's going to give you sentences, and then it's going to tell you whether the sentences are true or false. Okay, so you can also practice that. Now, why could you do, or why should you do all these types of exercises? Because you will be reinforcing the vocabulary. So first you will be testing your reading comprehension, but then you're going to be practicing the vocabulary over and over, and that will eventually help you acquire and learn and remember the vocabulary. So let's add, I'm going to add this then to here. So notice that now, then you can format everything, so it will be easier to work on this text. So notice what we have done here, okay? So first we had the text in level A1, which it's not really A1, it's really a B1, but that's okay. Then notice that it created the vocabulary for us, okay? You can format that and make it look nice so it looks like a textbook. Then it asks you questions and translated the questions, since we had already asked her to do the translation, and then answered the questions. And then notice that you can also create this sort of true or false exercise that again can test your comprehension. Now, in case you want to practice your vocabulary further, what you can do is you can copy the vocabulary here. Okay, so I'm copying the vocabulary. All right. And then I'm going to go back here and I'm going to say, create a story using these words. Okay, and remember, create a story in Spanish using these words. Okay, so I'm going to put that. I don't know what's going to happen since we have the words in English too. Let's see. So what it's going to do then is going to invent another story. So this is going to be a little different from the one that we had before. Juan no podía creerlo, su dibujo se había convertido en un Pegaso, el Pegaso aterrizó ante él y dijo en voz alta, gracias por crearme, me gustaría ser tu amigo. Okay, so let's see if it's the same story. Juan sonrió emocionado, increíble, exclamó. Okay, so it looks like it's created the same story again. It's the same story, so that doesn't work. But you can give it the vocabulary, just the vocabulary by itself, and it will create a different story. Or you can say, for example, here, write a dialogue, okay, using this vocabulary. Okay, so now we have the vocabulary. Uy, I forgot to say. Okay, it's doing it in Spanish. ¿Recuerdas el día en que cobraste vida de mi dibujo? So it looks like here, Pepe was actually a drawing, and then it became real. You see, so it created a dialogue based on the vocabulary that we gave it. Okay, so now we can say, okay, let's copy the dialogue. Okay, let me copy the dialogue here again, and the new story. Okay, so I'm going to paste here. Okay, and I'm going to ask the program now to write a summary in Spanish for this dialogue. Okay, so here then I'm writing the dialogue, and it's going to write a summary. Now again, this is very good for you because you're going to be finding the same words, but now it's going to be in a different context. You see, so now Juan y Pepe eran el mejor de los amigos. Pepe había cobrado vida como el Pegaso al lado del dibujo de Juan. So it's actually referring back to the story that it created before, cuando eran niños. Desde entonces exploraron muchos mundos mágicos y tuvieron numerosas aventuras emocionantes. So it's actually summarizing what the dialogue was saying. So you're encountering the same words, but now in the form of a narration as opposed to a dialogue. And again, you will have new words, so you can actually ask the program to create a vocabulary for you and it will. So this way, just based on the original text that we created for A1, notice that we took it all the way to C1, and then we created the vocabulary, and then with that vocabulary, we asked the program to create another story, and then create a dialogue, create questions, create true and false, and everything from a text that the artificial intelligence itself has created. In the next segment, I am going to show you how to work with authentic material. So we're going to go to a newspaper, and then we're going to work an article from the newspaper. Okay, so in this segment, I'm going to teach you how to work with authentic materials rather than with materials that artificial intelligence has created. So you can go to your favorite newspaper. So in this case, I have gone, it's not my favorite, but this is the one that I found that opened easily. El Mundo, it was a Spanish newspaper from Spain. And then here you have a piece of news. So what you need to do then is you're going to copy the news. So let's copy up to here so we don't get the drawings. Okay, and we are going to paste this into our text. Okay, so I'm going to paste it here. So notice that I got the article here, or that piece of the article. Now this is authentic material, so this is written for native speakers. So what you can do is you can take this text here, and let's put the text in Poe. Okay, so let's go back to Poe here, Poe.com. Okay, let's go to Claude. I like Claude, but you can try all these. Sage will give you shorter answers. With the free version, you can ask one question to GPT-4 and one question to Claude P. This is excellent if you're asking like a research question. It's really fine. Okay, so what we're going to ask then is summarize. Okay, so summarize this article in Spanish level, say B1. Okay, so here then I have put the text and resumen del artículo español nivel B1. It's summarizing the article in level B1, so it's actually simplifying the text for us to let's copy and compare and see how it actually simplified the text. So I'm going to copy this here. Let me make this shorter so we can actually see more sentences. Okay, so that's enough. Let me make this bigger so we can compare these two texts here. So let's go here. Let's make this 16. And let me split the screen here so we can compare the two texts. Okay. So here, ¿sí? Concretamente, el expresidente estadounidense, so we need to make this one bigger too. So let me make it bigger so we can see that. 16, alright. El expresidente estadounidense Donald Trump, imputado en el caso de pago irregular a la actriz porno Stormy Daniels, viajará el lunes de Miami a Nueva York para presentarse ante el juez en la tarde del martes. Summary. El expresidente de Estados Unidos viajará a Nueva York a enfrentarse a cargos por un pago irregular a la actriz porno Stormy. Se presentará ante el juez el martes. Okay? So we see that it has actually simplified the text. Concretamente, su cita con el juez será a las 14:15. La audiencia general de la declaración. Okay. Se ha informado que el juez, notice that this is very spoken, que lo han informado de, so this is a dequeísmo, but that's okay. Se ha informado que el juez presentará más de 30 cargos. So actually, it is summarizing, but it's skipping some information, which I guess it considered it not so important. But you can see that it actually lowered the level for that. So let's go back here. So again, you can practice with original texts, and then you can say the same. So you can say, do the vocabulary vocabulary list in Spanish, okay, for the texts above. So let's see if we can do it. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. So notice that again, just like what we did before, it creates the text for the translation for the text that you have there. If you want the original text, then you should copy. This is the original text, the one that we took from the newspaper. And then you can say, okay, make a vocabulary list for this text, and then just copy the original text. Then it will give you the vocabulary for the original text. Ir a juicio, so going to trial, will not plead guilty, no se declarará culpable. So notice that it's actually giving you pretty accurate imputación, that's an indictment. It's giving you pretty good translations. Now, you can do the same that we did before. So you can say, write 10 questions for the text, for this text. So I have it in the memory here, for this text. Okay, and let's say 10 questions in Spanish. In Spanish for this text. Okay, keep this out. Summarize it as article. Okay, and then okay, so it's going to write 10 questions for us. So you have the 10 questions there. Ooh, it's actually writing 20 questions. Okay, so you can say now answer the previous questions. Answer the previous questions. So this is also very good for you to practice vocabulary. All the new words are being used here over and over. So there are the answers to the 20 questions. So now it's answering the 20 questions. Okay. Again, notice el caso, let's say, question number 3. ¿Cuál es el caso de pago irregular en el que está imputado Donald Trump? Okay, pretty advanced. El caso de pago irregular en el que está imputado Donald Trump es el de un pago de $130,000 a Stormy Daniels para que no revelara un romance. Okay, so very high Spanish. You can do vocabulary again, and then you can also say, write a dialogue. Okay, write a dialogue based on this text. Okay, so again, you have the original text, and then he's going to give you a dialogue. So here's Donald talking to Melania, saying that he has to go to New York. It has its own sense of humor. And this way then, notice that you can ask for the vocabulary. Okay, so write the vocabulary in Spanish for the above dialogue. Let's see if it understands that. Yep. Okay. So notice that it's giving you the vocabulary in case there's new vocabulary. So especulando, speculating, apoyo, support. So that's pretty good. Okay. So this way you can then also practice with original sources, authentic text, authentic material, and then improve your vocabulary, and then you can make it harder or you can make it simpler. Okay, just ask any one of these programs to do that. Now, let's imagine that you need more information, for example, about Donald Trump. Okay, so let's go to GPT-4, and then I can say here, write 200 words. So let's make it 200. You can write all the way to 400. 2-word article about Donald Trump's, You see, I forgot, I pressed enter by mistake, and then it's going to write you things. So this is why it's important for you to actually do it, to say that you want it in Spanish. Okay, let me switch to Claude. So you can also do this in Claude, but remember, you only get one. See, it's writing a whole article, and it's giving you even links so that you can get some more information on that, which is pretty good. So this is GPT-4. GPT-4 is probably the best for you to do research like that. But let's use Claude, because I wanted, still working on, here's Claude. So let's see. So write the 200-word article in Spanish about Trump's legal troubles in the US. Okay, I'm not sure it's going to do it because I think it only has access until 2021. So let's see what it's going to say. All right. Okay, so it's not going to do 200 words, it's going to do 191 words. But notice then that actually, yeah, it is writing about the recent, yeah, so notice that it's talking about 2020. So I think it only has information until 2021. So, but you can ask. And then the interesting thing is, so you can say, for example, let's take this article here. And if you're interested, for example, in doing this in another language, let's say translate, okay, translate the previous article into, and you can pick any language you want. Okay, so let's say Albanian. Okay, let's see if you can do it. Yeah, there you go. So it took the original article and translated it into Albanian. So you can also practice other languages that you're working on. And you can do exactly the same kind of exercise. Okay, so you can ask it to do vocabulary, questions, etc. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions, you can send me an email. You can look for me at Georgetown University, and I'll be happy to help you with ways that you can improve your language skills. Subscribe to my channel if you want to get more videos of this kind, and I hope to see you then in the future. Bye bye for now.